I'm Anna from Hot Stepmom, and this is Grit City Punk.
Productions. Welcome back to Grit City Punk, Tacoma's underground music and variety show. Got a fantastic program for you today. We have an interview with Anna from Hot Stepmom. We've got some new music to talk about, some upcoming things to discuss. But first, I'd like to do a little recap. April 17th was the Art of Hardcore show at Real Art Tacoma. I worked backstage for that event. And I got to tell you, the bands were incredible. Land Lost opened it up. Incredible set. Super high energy. Next was Apex Predator, who absolutely destroyed the room. That pit went so hard. The place was packed, and it was from wall to wall, just absolute mayhem. Apex Predator just absolutely killed. Next up was a touring band called Psycho Frame, with kind of a hybrid hip-hop hardcore kind of thing. Really cool. Denial of Life ramped up the violence even more. They brought wiffle ball bats, were launching wiffle balls into the crowd, as well as passing out about a half dozen bats or so. It was absolute pandemonium. And then I ended with End of Days, who just did not let up on the energy at all. Really great sets from all the bands. There's some videos up on the Grit City Punk YouTube page now. Go check those out. Denial of Life actually filmed for their upcoming video at this show. So be on the lookout for that as well. Go check out all those bands. Incredible, incredible bands. And since I brought up YouTube, I made a few changes since the last episode. The YouTube that I'm using for Grit City Punk is still the same. But I've changed the name of it. Instead of UGT, which used to stand for Underground Table Videos from my other podcast. It was kind of a shared platform. Now it's just strictly Grit City Punk. If you look on YouTube and just search Grit City Punk, that should come up. There's no other sub-name or by name anymore. Less confusing. Also, this last weekend on Friday, April 25th, was a show at Slice of Life Pizza on the east side of Tacoma. First time ever being there. Tiny, tiny little place. And it was great. The headliner was Rat Utopia Experiment. Joey and I filmed the entire set. We got tons of pictures, tons of videos. We're going to be blasting that out. The entire set will be on YouTube eventually. We're going to be blasting out media for that. It was a lot of fun. They put on an incredible set and even gave us a new song, which was cool. There was two touring acts, Sleep Cult and Mopsy, both from Salt Lake City. Both were incredible. Also, there was Stormboy from Olympia, who I gotta say absolutely blew the roof off the building. They were incredible. Definitely look out for them. And honestly, just a huge shout out to the entire show. Huge shout out to Rachel for putting the show together. Slice of Life Pizza for hosting the event. All the bands were great. Chaz and Charlie from Stormboy, just thanks for being good homies through the whole night. You were a lot of fun to hang out with. And since we're on the topic of shows, there's been some recent events lately that have kind of hit the social media circuits, and people have been talking about them, about certain venues, mostly public outdoor spaces, and there's been some safety and etiquette concerns. So I've always believed that the scene should police itself, so the actual police don't get involved, because nobody wants cops showing up to a punk rock show and arresting people and breaking up the whole thing. And then we end up just with this huge nasty mess of the cops always looking for punk rock shows to shut down because they're dangerous. And then we just get a whole repeat of the 1980s in Seattle when they put on the teen dance ordinance and curfew and all that shit. And then live all ages music just didn't exist. And that's bullshit, and we don't want that again. So I reached out to some friends of the show to kind of get their opinion on different topics, different areas of all ages venues, and to just kind of get their opinion. And I want to share it here. So the first one is concerning drugs and alcohol and smoking at all ages venues.
Okay, I'm really only going to comment on alcohol because it's the only thing I've really seen a big problem with. I haven't seen any use of illegal drugs at all. That's probably just me not paying attention, to be fair. And I see no issue with people smoking blunts and smoking cigs outside of the venue. I think that's completely fine, as long as you're not doing it inside. But when it comes to alcohol, it's a whole thing, because it's allowed inside because it can't get other people intoxicated when you're around them because it's your private thing. But it still affects other people completely, right? Like, if you're going into a concert and you're in a mosh pit and someone walks in, some person who's a little tipsy, they bring their drink out and people are moshing, that's gonna spill. I remember we've had to have people, like, tell people, hey, don't be near this pit. You have a drink. What are you doing? It's not cool, okay? And then they're angry drunks. And it's like, dude, oh my God. I've been, again, in a mosh pit because there was a group of, like, maybe 5 guys who peaked in high school in their 30s, right? And they were all, you could tell, they were pretty blushed in the face there, pretty red, right? And they would get so pissed anytime a mosh pit would start. Oh my God. Like, they wouldn't really say anything. One guy said something, and he was just being a total dick about it. I actually talk about it in a recent interview I did with Margaret's Sick. Ryan from Margaret's Sick was at that concert, and we were moshing, and some guy got really pissed at us for moshing when we had to move the pit because they refused to move out of the mosh pit area. Genuinely, alcohol is so bad for concert experiences like that. I think it's stupid, and all it does is just make it worse for everyone around them. And I think it definitely is something to be embarrassed about after you leave, right? I think a lot of people have that. They wake up, the night or the morning after a concert, and they're like, "Oh, what did I say when I was drunk? What did I do when I was drunk? You were annoying." Just plain and simple. Like, literally every drunk person I've seen at a concert has been an annoyance completely and has made the experience worse. Fuck alcohol. Yep.
At all age shows, it's completely fine to smoke and drink if you're the legal age. All ages includes people who are 21 and up. However, the pit is not the place for cigarettes, joints, or alcohol cans that are carelessly thrown on the floor for people to trip on. I know someone who got burnt by a cigarette in the pit at a recent show, and many people that have gotten hurt from tripping on alcohol cans that have been thrown on the floor. There are minors at these shows, people who are sober, and people who simply just don't want to stand next to you and have to inhale that smelly smoke. Go smoke off to the side, and then put out whatever you're smoking if you want to go in the pit or the huge crowd, and throw your cans away in the garbage, please. These shows aren't parties. You shouldn't be getting completely wasted to the point you're throwing up or causing a scene. Have a little more respect for the bands playing and the others there to watch and have a good time.
Hey, this is Joey, the picture guy. I just wanted to give a quick little PSA to everyone. Don't go to an all-ages show, just for the sole purpose of getting drunk or high. I mean, I get it. As somebody who enjoys an occasional shot or two when I'm out with my friends, I know it's fun, but you can still have plenty of fun without it. I may not believe it, but an all-ages show usually has a lot of minors attending, and when there's just some drunk middle-aged man in the mosh with a bunch of teenagers, or some divorced dad from the bar next door starts to mansplain to photographers how to take pictures, which, ask me how I know, it just gets really uncomfortable for everyone. Listen, I don't care if you drink or not. It just, when you come into these shows wasted in front of a bunch of kids, that's when it becomes everyone's problem. And it's just weird behavior, man. Think about it. And nobody at an all-ages show really wants to be around that.
And those are all really good points. And I'd just like to add that as a person who used to drink who no longer drinks, and a person who used to smoke and no longer smokes, there's a time and a place. Like, if you're at a bar and you're watching a show, Sure, you're drinking. Probably everybody there is drinking. When you're at an all-ages club, specifically like a venue that is intended to be an all-ages music venue, kind of read the room. Sure, a lot of places offer alcohol. They sell beer. They have a bar. And there's nothing wrong with somebody just chilling, drinking a beer, whatever, watching the show. But, I mean, read the room. If you're in a venue full of kids, I mean, show some damn class. And smoking and vaping is never okay especially inside of a public building where it's illegal, number one, and it's unhealthy and it just sucks. Smoking and vaping in a crowd of people outside is just in poor taste. You know, walk away from a crowd. People who don't partake in that stuff don't want to be breathing it in. Show some respect for the venue. Show some respect for the other people at the show. All right, a couple of new releases I'd like to talk about here. Not too many. Kind of a light 2 weeks here. On April 10th, the band Micha-xox released an album called Reset. It's really cool, especially if you like post-hardcore, emo, shoegazy kind of stuff. Definitely worth checking out. This song is called Cut. Yeah, and there's a lot more where that comes from on the album, so be sure to check that out. Next up, The band Surreal has dropped a single called New Fave Food. Guys, there's just huge Nirvana vibes on this, and I am here for it. Sounds great. They're gearing up for an album drop in the summer, I believe. This is the first single from it. It's called New Fave Food. Grunge has gone from basically being an inside joke to being an industry buzzword to being antiquity. Now it's a bona fide actual genre thanks to bands like Surreal and a few others. That was New Fave Food from Surreal's upcoming album. Just over the weekend, they dropped a second single called Illiterate. It's out now. I'm not going to play it, but go check it out. It's just as good. This is going to be a really great album, I think. So be on the lookout for that from Surreal. And finally, we've been talking about this the last couple episodes. Evangeline Rae from The Drivers is doing solo work now. She's put out 2 singles. Well, her it's an EP, 8 songs, just dropped. It's called To a Fault. And it's a lot mellower, folkier, kind of singer-songwriter kind of thing, rather than the poppy punk stuff that The Drivers did. But for all you Drivers heads out there, I'm going to play the song from the EP that features The Drivers. It's called Make It Stop. Who are you and what do you do?
Hi, I'm Anna Norris. I sing and I play guitar for the band Hot Stepmom.
Why do you do it? What's your motivation?
I really like performing, and I get sad when I don't perform for a long period of time. I just really like writing and like expressing myself in the form of music, and then like seeing other people like come to the shows and like relate or like just be like really into what we're doing is like really heartwarming for me. And yeah, like I mean, like I started performing when I was like 13 or 14, and I remember like my first band was not good. And like even after that and like having really bad performances, like I still really wanted to do what I was doing. So my dad was like, hey, I mean, if you can do something really badly and still have a good time doing it and you still miss it, then it's a good sign that you should keep doing that thing.
Sage advice. So what is punk? What does punk mean to you?
To me, it's kind of like standing up for what you believe in and doing what you can to try to get yourself and like other people around you to move in a direction that you're advocating for and kind of like going against what might be the norm. Yeah, just sticking with it, standing your ground, and being unapologetic about it.
Now, you were a choir student. We learned that from our last interview.
Mm-hmm.
You're currently in college. Do you study music or have any music involvement in college right now?
No, actually. So I was intended to go into college with a business major and a music minor, but they ran out of space in the ear training class that I was supposed to take, so I wasn't going to have music at all my first semester, and that sounded really terrible, so then I just switched majors like entirely to earth science. And then I was taking voice lessons for a semester, but I didn't realize that it was going to be graded, so I didn't have fun. So I don't do that anymore either. But I go to Jaren's stuff sometimes. Like I went to one of his jazz concerts last year, and I want to go to another one. He just doesn't tell me when they are.
So how does that affect or inform your performing in Hot Stepmom?
I will say to start off that choir, like having been in choir, is one of the other reasons I like got into using music as an outlet. Because like it started in 6th grade and I didn't want to be in choir because I thought it was stupid. Even though I liked singing, like I just thought choir was dumb. But I ended up really liking it, so then I stuck with it through my senior year of high school, and I ended up being like, I ended up becoming a leader in that group, and I ended up helping like a lot of my peers, and so like I learned a lot about leadership in a musical context, and I learned a lot about actually singing and like the technique that goes into it, and like because we were doing a lot of different songs in different languages, like we would analyze the meaning of songs a lot, and so that kind of pushed me in the direction of like singing and writing the way that I do, and like always trying to put deeper meanings into things. And then there's also my creative writing class and my English classes that also like have a really big influence on how I write stuff. But I'm not doing music in college because I don't think I would enjoy making it my education. Like I did do choir for a little bit at college, but it wasn't the same because I didn't have the same like history in the group. And like I know it's like you have to like start over and like work your way up again, but like I wasn't really meshing with anyone, and like the professor I wasn't really meshing with either, so like I left that pretty quickly. But I do like learning. So I am a double major in earth science and environmental studies, and I like learning about all that because I like learning about what's going on currently, and a lot of that does relate to like climate, which relates to politics and like socioeconomics, a lot of stuff like that. And I like to think about certain issues when I'm writing sometimes. We're working on a song that I can't talk about like at all right now. But but it's informed by some like political and like social climate stuff. And I think it's really interesting to be able to learn about other things and like gain new experiences through college, because like I wouldn't be able to learn about like earth science just like by living life. But like since I'm in a band and I do a lot of the like businessy stuff for the band, I'm learning about all that in real life. But then like gaining more experiences gives me more things to write about, which is really helpful.
I didn't realize you guys had NDAs.
Yeah, I can tell you about it. No, I can't actually.
Okay.
I can't talk about it.
That's fine. I'll wait. Yeah, so I was really interested about your choir background, because when you perform, you're not just putting words to make them sound good with music. Like, you're using your voice as an instrument in a way that really it takes training to be able to do that.
Thank you.
Was there a moment or a specific band or song that really made you decide that music was going to be the path that you were going to take, that you were going to get serious about it?
Honestly, I think it was that moment, like with my dad. Well, okay, there's like a string of things, but like the moment with my dad stands out to me a lot, because like I've always been very worried about what I'm going to do in life. And like at the time, having been like a freshman in high school, after my first band, I was like, oh, you know, like there's like certain things I want to do, but I'm too scared to like admit that because I don't feel like it's realistic. But like over time, and like just knowing how I feel when I don't get to perform, and knowing how I feel when I don't get to write or sing for extended periods of time, like I know that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And like when I see people at our shows that are like dancing and like having a good time, and like people who come up to me afterwards to like talk to me, like it really feels like I'm part of something bigger than myself. And it feels really good to be able to see that tangibly. But yeah, kind of just that. I don't know. I guess like just like my confidence has grown a lot as a performer and a musician. And so like even if I don't get like famous, like sold out stadium world tour, whatever, I think music would still be my top priority in like performing. So does that answer the question?
It absolutely does. Yeah. And going back to getting responses from fans at shows and stuff, I've seen that a lot of times at your shows. It's really heartwarming to see younger kids approach you after the show and just, you know, say how much they're impressed, or how much it meant to see you on stage, and know that it's, you know, something that's achievable.
Yeah, no, there was this one couple that's been to a few of our shows. Like they messaged us. I don't remember if it was on the band account or my account, but they were like, "Hey, we're coming to this show for our anniversary, and it's really special because your guys' show was like our first date." And so it was like a full circle moment for them, and that was really sweet. And then like another moment that stuck out to me was when we were doing Art on the Ave in Tacoma, and we were playing Murphy, and this old couple just like started like dancing together in front, like while we played that song. And afterwards the man was like, "Thank you." And I was like, oh my God, that's like one of the sweetest things I've ever seen in my life.
Odd song choice for it, but still really sweet. So you did Art on the Ave. That was a pretty big deal. You had back in March of last year, like pretty much 1 year ago, you had your EP release show at Spanish Ballroom. You've done your Halloween show with the No Doubt set. What has been a really memorable moment, like just a favorite experience related to Hot Stepmom?
Okay, so this one is kind of very personal, and I've talked to like the band about it, but I don't think I've ever talked about it like publicly. So Fia from True used to be in the band, and then she left to focus on True. We've talked about this, and so our first show at a venue after that, I was really worried that people wouldn't like us as much, because like I know a lot of our uniqueness like at the time stemmed from having like a dual front and like our chemistry. And so yeah, I was just like so scared that like no one was gonna show up because Fia left. But I don't even remember what the date of the show was, but it was at Real Art, and we were playing 4 Words, and I, at the time, pretty consistently, I would like leave the stage like with Fia, and then like we would come out of the green room and like sing in the crowd. And so this show, the first one without her, I still did the thing where I left the green room, or I left the stage, and then I came out singing from the green room. And people had made like this tunnel for me, like one of those tunnels where like everyone's like touching fingertips and like expecting me to walk through because like they knew that it was going to happen. And like that moment was like really reassuring to me that like the project of Hot Stepmom itself still was going strong, and like people were still like holding it near and dear to their hearts, and like I was still holding it near and dear to my heart. But I was June 23rd at Real Art. That was our graduation show, actually.
It was.
Yeah. 2023. So yeah, that moment was like really reassuring. My dad has a video on his Instagram of it. And like it just made me feel like, oh, people do like me, like as a front, like people do still want to see us.
That's awesome. So tell me about a memorable experience not involving your band, but with another local band or a local venue.
Trying to think, because we've had a lot of shows with a lot of really good bands.
Was it maybe a certain individual with gold pants? I remember that being a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean that was really fun. Minka was great. But I guess okay. So recently, we had a show at the Mortuary in Olympia with Zucrot and Storm Boy and what?
Altar Girl.
And Altar Girl from Oregon?
Yeah, Portland.
Portland. Everyone in those bands were like super nice and like super supportive. Like everyone was up front or like at least in the crowd for each other. Everyone was like going up to each other afterwards being like, oh, that was such an awesome set. And like we got along really well with Zucrot and Altar Girl, like because we've played with Storm Boy before, and this was our first time meeting Altar Girl and Zucrot. But yeah, we all were like buddy after. It was just really fun, and it was such a hype show too. Like everyone was so good.
Yeah, Zucrot's good people. I met them a couple weeks ago.
Nice.
Unfortunately, I didn't get to see them play, but
no,
at least I got to talk to them. I know.
They're so good. No, honestly, like I knew they were gonna be good. I wasn't expecting like how hype it would be. I just remember like me, Jaren, and Ben were like in the back of the venue kind of, and like Ben and Jaren and I like looking at each other, like they were in front of me, like they looked back, and we were all like.
So, what inspires you to write and create?
Like inspire in like a literal sense, or like
sure, figurative, literal. Hey, I'm asking very vague questions on purpose here.
I know. I'm like, I don't know if it's actually go. There's a lot of things that inspire me, which is really interesting to say, because I think that's always been true, but like my perspective on life has changed a lot within the last few years. So, is it okay if I just go through like a brief timeline of things that have changed? Okay, so when I was like 16 and I like first started like writing music consistently, a lot of what inspired me was like being sad, basically. And then I've talked about this before, but like Sylvia Plath was a really big inspiration for like the lyrics that I was writing and like the structure of the lyrics that I was writing. I don't know, I was just like really sad from ages 15 through 17. So that informed
Relatable.
a lot of what I was doing. Yeah. A lot of what I was doing. But But like I feel like literally like when I turned 18, this also could have been just because of the amount of conversations I've had with my dad, because he's like always the person I go to. But like right when I turned 18, like on my birthday, like I felt like a physical weight lifted off my chest, and I'm like, okay, everything's gonna be fine. Like it's almost over. Like we'll be okay. And so lately, a lot of the stuff that's been inspiring me is a more pure optimism. Like I feel like I've always been like somewhat optimistic, but I feel like now that I'm like not super sad, I feel very good about life. And like when I'm outside and like I'm just like looking up and like walking around and like I see like the sky and like plants and shit around me, like I like I just feel very human and like very grounded, and like I feel like being human is just like a really big inspiration in itself for me. And like obviously like world events inspire a lot of what I want to write about, and a lot of the things that I do with the band, like doing donations or like talking about certain issues or performing certain songs at shows. And then there's also like my music inspirations, like Biba Doobie, who's Filipino also. And I don't know, I just like seeing other Filipino people in like mainstream media, because it's like, that could be me. And yeah, honestly, just like women in music are very inspiring to me also. Yeah, just people, life, just everything. I don't know. I'm very easily inspired. I feel like I romanticize my life a lot, like on a day-to-day basis. So
You're an artist.
yeah. Everything I look at, I'm like, oh, that could be a thing. That could be a song. That could be a lyric.
It's probably that and your optimism that makes your music so relatable and so inspiring in and of itself. And, it feels good to listen to.
Thank you.
So what genre is Hot Stepmom?
Ooh. I don't know. I feel like whenever people ask that, I usually say like indie alternative. And I feel like that's like our releases have been pretty much that. We do want to experiment a lot more genre-wise, because we all listen to like a lot of different things, and like we want to make stuff that people can dance to and like still relate to or cry to. But like I want to bring in some like 70s boogie influences, and like I know Jaren really loves jazz and funk, so like I feel like that could totally be doable. And I have some guitar pedals that I've been waiting to use in songs. So
this is intriguing. So the answer for now is indie alternative?
Yeah, for now.
For now.
But we'll see in like a year.
With an asterisk?
Yep.
All right, perfect. How do you view the role of music and art in society?
I think it's really essential to people being happy, honestly. Like, I took a climate anxiety class last semester in fall, and we did talk about like the role of artists in crises,
multiple crises, yes.
Yeah. I just feel like art is a really good way for people to have an outlet during crises and like be able to communicate what's going on and what they're feeling about it. But also, it's a really good way to spread messages, because like music especially is like really easy for people to like come across and like just hear in passing. And if it gets stuck in someone's head and then it ends up being about something like vaguely like important, then they start to think about that thing. Or like art is so easily accessible now, especially with like social media. And so like people who have something to say and like want to make art about it, they can go on social media and like spread certain messages like based on what they're creating and like what they're saying with that art. And I just think it's really neat. Especially because I think humans are just so good at creating things, and I think that we need people to create stuff Like I just think it's a really important point of connection between people, and it's really important for people's just functioning, which I feel like sounds really bold to say, because like I feel like a lot of people would argue like, no, hustle culture, I need money, like, but I think that without artists we would be a lot more sad.
Yeah, certainly a reason to connect with other humans. I mean, that's why we're talking. That's why I'm doing this show.
Mm-hmm.
It's the whole point of what you do on a daily basis and what I do pretty much on a daily basis. So besides music, what else are you passionate about?
Environment. I feel like a lot of I feel like I talk a lot, so a lot of the questions you're asking, like, it just like circles back.
We're kind of retreading a little bit. That's okay.
But yeah, so like I said, I'm studying earth science and environmental studies. They are different. So earth science is more about like the actual scientific processes that Earth goes through. So like it's geology. It's just another word for geology.
Mm-hmm.
But that can include like climate processes, land formations, weather, etc. Environmental studies kind of is more broad. So with my environmental studies classes, I've had to do like economics, religion, other sciences, and then also we talk about how people use like natural resources and stuff like that. But I'm really passionate about environment because I am like terrified of like what could happen with climate change, and like, you know, like the fact that I live here and like sometimes it feels like nothing is happening to, you know, mitigate things. But, you know, like actually like being informed about what's going on in the world in regards to the environment and climate, it just makes me feel a lot better about what's going on, and like knowing that there are little victories every day. And I hope that like I can become educated enough myself to like be able to inform others, especially people who are like super anxious about it, so that, you know, they can feel a little bit better, and to hopefully like have enough influence, or like even the amount of influence that I could have now, like trying to get people to be more aware of it, or like, you know, inform people about like what they can do. Because a lot of times when people talk about climate change, it's like this big monster that like we can't do anything about as individuals. But like, I promise, like the effort works. Like the effort helps a lot. And yes, corporations, boo, in terms of environment.
Yeah.
And for other reasons, but in the context of environment, yeah. But we can do stuff, and there are little changes that are happening. We're just trying to turn a really large boat, basically, trying to turn it around. So it can take a really long time. But I think I have faith. So.
Yeah, well, that's good. I'm glad that you're informing yourself as much as you can, and that you do have faith and optimism. And there tends to be this, I guess it's like a stigma around climate change, where people view it as like a singular problem that you have to solve all at once, or it's not worth it.
Yeah.
And that's just asinine. I mean, every little thing that anybody can do can help, but also at the same time, like no one person can do everything.
Exactly.
You have to balance in your own life what you can do and still live comfortably, and what, you know, is just out of your reach, at least at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the part of the conversation that I don't think gets talked about enough.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like, because I feel like the way that it gets talked about, that's why there's so many people who will like literally starve themselves to try and not have any carbon footprint when it comes to like the food that they're eating. Like, I think that we do need to do a better job, like especially in the science world, like communicating to the general public that there are things that can be done little by little, and it's not just this is happening and it's inevitable and it's gonna happen, like, so.
Right. So on that note, not on that note at all, changing the subject, are you still planning to release a live album?
Yes. Okay. So it's mixed, but there was a little bit of a communication issue that happened, but it's been dealt with. And so we should, in theory, have the masters back by mid-April if we can afford it.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
So everybody that's listening to this needs to go to a Hot Stepmom show, buy some merch, and support. Get this thing done. Get this thing made.
Preach!
Over the years, you've done, well, I guess not too many. You've collabed with a hip hop artist by the name of Clashes. Is that how you say it? Clashes?
Clashes, yeah.
Clashes. Very good stuff. You've collabed with him a few times. You've made solo demos. Is there any possibility, or do you foresee or have the desire to ever make anything musically outside of Hot Stepmom, whether it be like a solo project or more collab work or a side band or something?
I've thought about doing a solo project, but at the same time, in my head, like, if being in a band is what I want to do, then, like, any ideas or songs that I think are worth putting out in the world, I bring to Hot Stepmom, because it's my main project, and, like, these are my friends, and, like, they're who I want with me if things go big. And, like, people have, like, tried to, like, talk me into doing more solo stuff, or, like, going solo completely, and, like, yeah, which is a little bit ridiculous, because if I was solo and I did get famous, I would need musicians to go on tour with me, and who are the first people I would ask? Hot Stepmom. So I might as well just do everything with Hot Stepmom.
Yeah, and wouldn't that be fucked if you went solo and they became your employees?
Yeah.
There we are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, there's that. I would do more collabs with people. Like Clashes and I did one recently, or relatively recently, called Oh My, and I really like that song. And we've talked about he might be visiting Washington like next year or something like that. And I was like, oh, it would be really cool if like we could do a show where like we do like some of the songs that we've done together, and then there's Hot Stepmom and then him.
That would be really cool.
Yeah.
So if you were to collab with other people, who's on your wish list?
I mean, I don't really have one. I mean, like, are you talking like realistic, or like if I was like famous, who would I want to ask me to be on a song?
Yes.
Okay. I don't think I have anyone in mind that like I would ask them first. Like I'm sure there are people who like if they asked me, I would be like, oh heck yeah. But like if I were like really famous, I would love to do a song with Biba Doobie, or Japanese Breakfast would be a really good one. That would be fun. Who else exists?
If you were to collab with them, it would just sound like the same singer.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really think about it very often, because I'm mostly just thinking about, like, how am I gonna get Hot Stepmom moving forward. I'm very focused.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So when are you going to get in the studio and record a cover of Black Sheep?
Oh my gosh, we were talking about this today. You know, I don't know how to get rights to release covers. So I don't
There is
think
that.
I don't think it's gonna happen, because I don't know how to do it. And I mean, like, I don't really
I'll
care
tell you
enough.
a really neat loophole.
Okay. Okay. Sounds
I'm not
good.
a lawyer. Don't take legal advice from me. I just want to hear
I'm gonna take legal advice.
it. Disclaimer, don't take legal advice from me.
Who else am I gonna take legal advice from?
Your dad? He seems smart. So, Blade, you remember Blade?
I do remember Blade.
Yeah. So, he's not with me on this adventure.
No. Just kidding.
But he did want to know, specifically, Anna, when is the new shit dropping? I've been waiting.
You know, okay, like I said, live album is going to be probably end of April, or mid-April, whatever happens. And that's going to have some of our unreleased new stuff on it, like including Murphy and Ballroom Dancing with Mercedes. And another one. I'm not spoiling. Just kidding. But we do have plans to get in the studio again at some point this year, whether it's in like at the end of the year, like December, just sometime this year, because we do have some songs that we could probably record for real. And then there's other things that I can't talk about.
More NDAs.
Yeah. So I guess we'll see what happens. Hopefully within the next year.
So speaking of the next year, what's next? What's on the horizon? You still got some shows booked.
Mm-hmm.
You've got shows booked in May and June, right?
Oh, yeah.
I've seen your calendar. I've seen your
we have
schedule.
one booked through August, actually. So, yeah, we have a good list of shows coming
Don't we
up.
have a September one?
Yeah, but that's not relevant right now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's not relevant.
Yeah, it's not relevant. Yeah, we book out pretty far because people like to message us. Honestly, all of the shows that are on our schedule right now, I did not reach out to anyone about those. Like, people would just like message us, and then I will go to the band and be like, hey, do you guys want to do this? And then they're like, okay.
That's really cool, though, that everybody reaching out to you.
Yeah.
So May 28th, you're at Real Art.
Yes, we are.
Mm-hmm.
So I have like a schedule like over there, so I'm looking over there.
I am looking at it right now. I'm doing your work for you. July 19th in Seattle at the Woodland Theater, and then August 22nd back at Real Art.
Yeah.
And more to be announced, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Upcoming shows, possibly studio work. Well, thank you so much, Brianna Norris, for being here.
I kind of wanted to talk about Cocoon because no one ever asks me about Cocoon. And someone asked me about it the other day, and I got to talk about it, and I was really happy, and I was like, man,
I think I've asked you before, just not on a recording.
Yeah, well, I kind of just wanted to like talk about it, like kind of like almost like a breakdown of it.
Please,
if that's okay.
Please do.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so Cocoon is a really near and dear song. Like, it's a very personal piece. Like, yeah, it's personal for all of us. Was it the first song that we wrote after Thea left?
Either that or Ballroom Dancing with Mercedes.
No, it was Cocoon was before that.
Then it was Cocoon.
Oh yeah, okay. So Cocoon was like the first song we wrote after our last lineup change. Jared and I had talked about like, you know, like what do we want our music to sound like, and like what direction do we want to go in thematically. And we talked a lot about like growth and how we were all kind of going through this transitional period now of, you know, having been in our, like, going into our first year of college. I remember I went to my boyfriend's house, and it was sunny where I live, but then where I went to because he lived 40 minutes away, it was cloudy there, and I texted him, and I was like, damn, it's cloudy over here. He was like... He was like, oh, well, the weather follows me. And then I got to his house, and then like we hung out for a little bit, and then we stepped outside after like, I don't know, like 30 minutes passed, and I was like, oh, it's sunny now. And he was like, oh, I was wrong. I guess the sun follows you. And I was like, oh my God, that's so sweet. And then like I was like, wow, that would be like a really cool like lyric in a song. And you know, little Easter egg, my boyfriend has said things that have appeared as lyrics before, like let's get glued at the armpit. But anyways, yeah, so
romantic but also creepy and weird.
So when Ben brought the guitar part for Cocoon, I in the chorus part for the guitar that he wrote, I could hear the melody going away, and and I was like, oh, this would be like a good song to include the how the sun follows me, and because Jaren and I wanted to talk about change and transitioning through a period in your life, like I was like, okay, Cocoon, we got this. And so like the first verse, which kind of like recurs throughout the song, I was kind of reminiscing on like COVID times when I was doing school from home, and I would like literally be in bed all day with my blanket around me like a cocoon. And like the stained glass part, you know how like sometimes like prophecies are depicted in stained glass windows? Like
Yeah.
I that was kind of like me kind of talking about how during COVID, when I got into making music by myself, like those demos that you find, I made most of those during COVID. It's kind of like, like I'm really sad and I'm home all the time, but I can see myself doing this. And like now that I've been doing it, like it's like I can see it. Like I can, like I don't know how to explain. Like I get like overly excited. Sometimes when I get excited, I can't talk, and I'm also really sweaty. So yeah.
That's how we know you're really into what you're talking about.
So yeah, like I thought it was a really cool imagery, and like I don't know if anyone else thinks it's as cool as I do, but anyways, yeah. So then like the sun follows me through the day, keeping shadows away. It's kind of like talking about what my boyfriend said, but also like kind of reflecting on my own optimism and like being able to get through like being so sad and in bed all the time and being ages 15 through 17. I really wanted to talk about the second verse because I think the second verse is really cool. So, like, the crawling up a brick wall. I don't know if you know the lyrics to Cocoon, do you?
Yeah.
Okay, so in the second verse, I say crawling up a brick wall.
You gotta remember, I've probably listened to that song more than, like, anybody besides you guys.
So crawling up a brick wall, ate a moth just to break up the fall. In my head, I was imagining, like if I was, like, crawling up a brick wall, like, like when you're crawling up a wall, like a brick...
As you do, yeah.
As one does.
Yes.
No, but like some people go
We can all relate with that.
So if you were climbing up a brick wall,
Hypothetically.
like your fingers would look like this, like with your phalanges like barely being able to like hold on. So,
I would have a terrible time. My fingers don't do that. So
so then like I'm imagining like myself falling, and then like I'm like, oh, maybe if I eat this moth, like I'll be able to absorb its powers and fly.
Maybe.
Yeah. But then that's like kind of like that's my way of talking about like, oh, I'm trying all these things to get myself up before I can hit the ground.
Right.
So yeah, I really like the second verse. What else do I say in that verse?
I really like the bridge.
Oh, I love the bridge.
Okay, so what is the main chord for the verse and the chorus? What key are we talking about here?
It is, so the key is D, and then it switches to E.
Okay,
So the first chord is E in the bridge.
On the bridge? Okay. Yeah. So that key change right there immediately transcends.
Yeah.
Talk about the lyrics.
Okay, yeah. So in the bridge, and I'm just saying these for people who might be listening who don't know the words. But I say, I wanted to be everything good in your eyes. I wanted to do everything perfect the first try. Better luck next time doing everything right. I wanted to be your everything right. And so that bridge is kind of talking about like perfectionism, and like at the time when I wrote it, it was in the context of my relationship, and like there's things that I'm still processing from past life events that still affect my current relationship and the way that I interact with my boyfriend. And so it's like, I'm sorry that I can't be perfect. I wanted this relationship to go right the first try. Like, I'm sorry that I can't. But now I kind of think of it in context of like making my parents proud. 'Cause my mom has always like like pushed for like strong education and like straight A's and stuff like that, and like focusing on school, getting a good job, etc. And there have been times in my life, especially age 17, where I just like could not fulfill that. Like I physically, mentally like could not handle it. And like even now, like I'm still like just now coming back into my overachiever mindset with school along with everything else. Cause like I've always been very motivated about music, but like with school specifically. So yeah, it's very much about perfectionism, and like saying like better luck next time is kind of like the telling yourself in your head like I'll have another chance, like it'll be fine. But then like when everything cuts out at everything right, like I don't know, to me it feels very much like when you're going through the chaos and emotions of like I couldn't do what I thought I could, and like coming out of that and like having that moment by yourself to reflect on like what's going on with yourself. That's what the bridge makes me feel, and that's kind of how I think of it now is in the context of making my family proud.
So there's the crescendo of the bridge where everything it's intense. It's really intense. It's the heaviest part of the song, both thematically and musically. And you're right, it just drops, and there's like a breath of silence before it settles back into a really quiet verse. And that is kind of like coming out of the chaos and seeing the sky, the sun, and
Yes.
just kind of having a moment of clarity. I relate specifically to the bridge, just in a lot of ways. Just, I mean, in being human in general, but also, like trying to be, the perfect dad, the perfect husband, the perfect employee, all those things, and knowing that you can't be perfect, but also knowing that that's okay.
Yeah, I'm glad that you relate.
That's so sweet.
I love this song. I love Cocoon so much.
I do too. And there's something, a while ago, the two of you had put up an Instagram reel of an acoustic version of that.
Oh yeah, like when we first wrote it.
That was the day we wrote it.
Yeah.
That was the actual like first day you wrote it.
In that room. Spent the whole day writing it in that room.
Yeah.
That's incredible. For as powerful as the song is, and it's recorded and finished version and also live, that stripped down raw acoustic version, it just, I don't know, it opens up so much more to it, to the structure of the song and the lyrics.
Oh, we do plan on recording and releasing an acoustic set, like a short one, that would be like on YouTube with like
that was literally going to be a question, and I forgot to write it down. If you would ever do an acoustic album or concert.
Yeah, we definitely plan on making one for YouTube and social media. We would like to do an acoustic show sometime. It would just need to be the right show. Like I said, all of the shows that we have right now, we didn't reach out to people for, so like none of them are really the right context.
There
So
was that time a long time ago where the two of us had that acoustic set.
oh yeah, me and Ben did an acoustic set a long time ago, but the context was not right. Like we felt really awkward, but it was fun. It was fun. But yeah, so if we did want to do an acoustic show, like it would need to be one that we're setting up and like reaching out to people for, and like specifically having it be an acoustic show. And I think that would be cool because like, some people like love live music but don't always want to be in that like super loud environment. So I just think it would be cool to do something chill like that.
Yeah. Oh, it's also just, it brings it into a different kind of mindset, different environment, totally different vibes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, is that it?
I think so. I think I said everything I wanted to say. Thank you for letting me talk about Cocoon as much as I did.
Of course. Of course. I didn't put any like actual song specific questions in this interview, but I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, I did want to. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying it is a great song, and there's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, no, I wanted to bring it up when you were asking like what inspires me, and like I was talking about like being outside and stuff, but then I was like, oh, I'll bring it up later. It's okay.
All right. Well, Anna Norris from Hot Stepmom, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
It's me, Anna, from Hot Stepmom. Just wanted to take a quick moment to welcome our new guitarist Luke into the band. He's a very good longtime friend of ours, super talented, very excited to be sharing the stage with him from now on. And you should follow us on Instagram at the band Hot Stepmom to stay updated with our show list. Keep an eye out for ones that we've added. On May 2nd, we'll be in Skagit Valley at a recreation center that no one's told me the name of yet, but we'll be in Skagit Valley. On May 15th, we'll be in Seattle at the gallery at the Vera Project. And on May 28th, we'll be at Real Art Tacoma in Tacoma. We'll be playing some new songs at our upcoming shows. Like I said, new venues. It'll be super fun, super exciting. We love meeting people and talking to people. So please come to our shows, see us perform, and talk to us because we love you. Okay. I think that's it.
Thank you so much, Anna. That was such a fun interview. And now it's bootleg time. We talked about it. An acoustic version of Cocoon. I have that, and I'm going to play it for you right now.
The days that I sleep through, wrapped up in my cocoon, love the things I outgrew, fresh warm wings and new view, stained glass that I can see, thought it might be a little early, but the sun follows me through the day, keeping shadows away, keeping shadows away. Crawling up a brick wall, ate a moth just to break up the fall. Try to fly, can I float? Will I die? Flashing eyes, thought I would say goodbye. The days that I've slept through, wrapped up in my cocoon, all the things I won't do, fresh warm wings, a new view, burning holes through my hands. Please, my friends, understand that the sun follows me through the day, keeping shadows away, keeping shadows away. I wanted to be everything good in your eyes. I wanted to do everything perfect the first try. Better luck next time, doing everything right. I wanted to be your everything right. The days that I sleep through, wrapped up in my cocoon, love the things I outgrew, fresh warm wings, a new view, stained glass that I can see, thought it might be
Today is Monday, April 28th. You should have woken up with brand new music in your feed from Tacoma band Velvet. They dropped 3 brand new songs, their first releases. I've been watching this band for a while now, watching them grow, refine their sound. Really excited to hear this. By the time you hear this, hopefully we will all have heard Velvet's 3 songs. Something else we've been talking about for a while and hyping up is Bad Optics. Their new album called The Bounded World will release on April 30th. Been a few singles out already. CD pre-orders are live on Bandcamp. The album drops on the 30th. Go check that out. Buy a CD. Go see them in concert. Really cool band. As far as upcoming shows, I've really only got one I'm going to share with you here. It's Friday, May 9th. It's at Make It Sick Tattoo in Tacoma on the east side. It's Kapala, Margaret Sick, Heaven Spot, and Slideshow Vision. $10 at the door. Absolutely be there. Should be a killer set. Okay, who are you?
I'm Regan Lane.
What does punk mean to you?
Punk is the idea of being yourself, being free, the freedom to do what you want, when you want, and believe the way you want at any time, no matter what's going on in the world. Just be yourself. Don't be afraid to be yourself. And in the end, that's what punk is for me. So there you go.
Thank you, Regan. And, well, that's our show. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for tuning in. I just want to say thank you to all of the listeners of the show. I've been doing this now. This is episode number 10. It's really just been a passion project of mine. Really wasn't sure what it was going to end up looking like when I first got into it in December. And I'm just really excited about how it's coming through and just the overall response I've been getting to the show. Whenever I'm at a concert, I try to promote the show as best I can, and I've been really surprised that I've been actually meeting people who already know the show before I introduce myself. It's really cool. Rabbit Hutch from the previous episode was at Punk Rock Flea Market in Seattle this past weekend. Met somebody who had listened to the show and recognized him through the show, which is so awesome. Honestly, I'm just blown away at that. So thank you so much for listening, and don't be afraid to reach out. Hit me up. I've got socials. There's a link to my email and everything in the link tree. And bands out there, keep sending me your stuff. Keep sending me your music. If you want me to review it, want me to talk about it, I'm always interested to hear new bands. I am not an expert at this. I'm figuring out as I go and learning about all the bands as they go. There is so many bands out here in the PNW, not just in Tacoma. There's already a ton in Tacoma, but just Seattle, Everett, Bellingham, Vancouver, Olympia, Portland. There's so many bands, and I can't possibly know all of them, but I'm trying. And, you know, if I haven't talked about you, if you're a band and I haven't talked about you, send me your stuff. I typically only want to cover newer stuff, though. So if you're a band and you haven't put out something new in a while, I probably won't talk about your older stuff on the show. But send me your music anyways. I'd love to hear it. And if you got something new upcoming, I definitely want to hear about it. The homies at Puget Scene Reports are back with new episodes, new interviews, new content. It's going to be available on Instagram, YouTube, probably TikTok. They've interviewed some bands, one of which was the Rat Utopia Experiment, and they sent me a clip. I don't know what's going on in this clip, to be honest, but here it is.
Yeah. If you're a man on your period, that is okay. Let's go! Bring it! Report. Bye-bye.
Before we wrap it up, I want to make a huge shout out to all the homies I've made along the way, all the people I've been meeting. Rachel from Tim's Tavern, who also promotes shows. Really cool to meet you. Joe from Slice of Life, Killer Venue, Good time. I'm anxious to see more shows there. Denial of Life, Apex Predator, Land Lost, End of Days. You guys were incredible. One of the things I love about working at Real Art is getting to meet the bands that otherwise I wouldn't meet or might not even be aware of, really. I was aware of all these bands before, and I'd been listening to them and enjoying them, but it was really cool to be able to interact with them on a more professional level. And so I'm very grateful for that opportunity. Well, and also with the concert etiquette stuff, again, I'm not an expert. I don't think any of the people I've talked to are experts. There is no one way to do things in punk or hardcore. But I want to make sure that this scene thrives and this scene is safe and welcoming for everybody. And with that, everybody, have a great day. We're going to close out the show with Stormboy off of their latest release. It's called Keep It Simple. You know where to find all my stuff. Hit the link tree. It's linked, like links should be.
This has been a Jiggle Down Productions production.
Oh, okay. Are you done?
Yeah.
We're recording now. Okay, great. And that's the end of actual recording. Now you have to make an intro for me.
Okay. Wait, okay, hold on. How should I do it? Like
I did it in like an action movie trailer. Like
I
this
know. I
is
kind of.
Surreal
Why do I
and
kind of want to do like a southern accent?
No, I was literally like, can I do like a
You want to
voice?
do it like Sandy from SpongeBob?
Oh God, no! I'm scared people will be offended. Wait. Okay. Where's the emphasis at? Like, is it like this is Grit City Punk or this is Grit City Punk?
This is Grit. This is Grit City Punk.
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 That's the emphasis. Is this?
This. Yeah.
Okay. I'm scared.
It's not like you can do multiple takes.
No, we should just use what we just did.
Yeah.
I could, and I might.
Every emphasis on every word.
Okay, wait, but you can include those, and then like at the end, you can have my real one.
It generally works the opposite.
Oh, okay.
I put the good one first.
If you were an avid listener, you would know that.
You would. There's always an Easter egg at the end.
Free Punk. You're a fake fan.
Fake fan.
Well, I know that every episode starts with "this is great" because I heard yours and I heard Fia's,
Yeah.
but I just okay.
It's not that deep.
Dude, for real.
Why is this the scariest part? This is why I was scared.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just introduce yourself in the podcast. That's all.
Oh, so hi, I'm Anna, and this is Grit City Punk. I'm Anna from Hot Stepmom, and this is Grit City Punk.
Boom! There you go. Boom! You looking for that?
I was going
Boom, we're looking for this.
I was going for my best radio voice, my best radio host voice.
Yeah, I can tell.
Hi,
Perfect.
I'm Anna from Hot Stepmom, and this is Grit City Punk.
There you go. That's the one I'm using.